And trust and believe I have done this many a times before. And then I got tested again and failed that test. But this time around, I was like, nope, these three things used to keep me broke. I'll start with the first one, which was that I used to say, because I heard this in my home growing up, and let me know if you're not the only one who heard this before, but rich people are evil, and people who have a lot of money have done evil things to get there. People in power are evil, right? This was one of the ideas that I had, and that I was challenged by, my mindset coach and licensed psychotherapist at the time. She actually challenged my way of thinking. And I said, well, people who are rich have a lot of money, and and they're spending it on cars or wasting it on things that are not important. But why was it any of my business what someone else did with their money? The benefit of actually dismantling this limiting belief is then opening yourself up to abundance and saying, well, what's wrong with being rich? Why not me? I want to be rich. I want to be wealthy. Why would I want to be rich? Because it's not about me. Usually the brokest people, they're the ones who are like, oh, I'm just going to have enough. I want to make sure I have enough just for me and my family to get by. That's not enough. If you want to be able to impact the world and be an actual world changer and create impact to do more for other people, if you're saying, hey, a lot of those rich people in power have all this money and they're not doing anything with it, why not you? Why can't you be the one to make sure that the funds are raised? Now, to the people who have a lot of funding, even from nonprofit organizations, I've seen them bring in so much money. Why? Because they need money to be able to then help and impact other people, like underserved youth and every other mission. So just like a nonprofit or a church collects money, they're not doing all of this for free. You need money to circulate in order to be able to spend it on things that can create impact and create lasting change. So if you want to be a part of the change and the impact, you have to rewire your brain to say, just because someone's rich, and especially I see a lot of jealousy in the comment section. This person was talking about what it was like to grow up being a millionaire. I saw it on my timeline on Instagram Reels. And the people in the comments were hating off of this person. And they were like, that person don't even deserve it. How do you know what someone deserves? You don't know what they did. And even though that's someone's child, or who's no longer a child, even though this is someone's kid who grew up in wealth, we should be happy for that person that they got to experience abundance and see this mentality of where they could have a slow paced lifestyle. And why don't you embrace that for yourself? Why not take notes from these people and say, wow, I'm really happy that they have abundance? I think a lot of the limiting belief around rich people or wealthy people do this or do that, they're all very different people. We've seen millionaires, billionaires like Rihanna, who started off in the music industry and then went into products. A shout out to her Pisces gang, by the way. But we've seen someone like her who became a billionaire from the products and the businesses that she's run. We've seen successive people like Jay-Z who started off in Brooklyn. You see people who started in the hood like 50 Cent who came from struggle, right? And then being able to get out of that lifestyle and now make all of this money. So this idea that, oh, just because I'm broke or I've been in this circumstance, I have to stay here is a myth and completely false. So if you get this idea out of your head that being rich is a bad thing or that having wealth is a horrible thing because it changes you, right? Money doesn't change you. It just reignites more of who you already were without the money. So getting more money, acquiring more wealth is not going to change you. You choose where you spend your money. And if you choose to spend that on charities and helping other people, what's wrong with that? If you choose to change the world and be a part of the change, that's what you're stepping into. So first and foremost, let this idea go. And this is something I had to let go of, was that, oh, rich people are bad and spending money on a car and this and that and wasting money is bad. No one's wasting money. They're spending on things that they like and that bring them joy and peace. And I want that for everybody. Number two, charging more money is wrong. This was one I really had to get over because I always wanted to make everything affordable and accessible to everyone. But as you bend over backwards trying to price your products or even your services for every single individual to be able to afford it, guess what ends up happening? You're appealing to a lot of broke people who don't invest in themselves anyway. Back when my pricing was maybe $500 or even $1,000 per client, I was attracting great people, but some of them just didn't have the mentality of taking meetings seriously. They would cancel last minute or they wouldn't take the work as seriously. Some of them were not even committed to their own success, so they weren't even able to see great, phenomenal results that I know I could have been able to help provide them with. But my clients who paid $5,000, my clients who paid thousands at one time, they went in. They went all in on themselves because because money is an exchange of energy. So if you are investing in yourself, now you're taking yourself more seriously. So don't be afraid to raise your prices. I mean, look at the economy right now. If everyone else is raising their prices, then you should be raising your prices as well. Be mindful and aware of what you are able to receive. If you are able to hold more and feel safe holding more, then you will receive more. If you say, well, people are not going to pay this, that's your limiting belief that you're going to have to sit and process. Why do you believe that people cannot afford this? Why do you believe that people are not spending money right now? There are a lot of people spending money right now. It's just your belief system is allowing you to only see people who are broke and cannot afford it. Well, you've got to change your circles. You've got to start looking up videos of people who are actually spending a lot of money right now and why they invested in that thing. I'm telling you, it'll give you so much more peace of mind. I would even highly recommend you to leverage AI and ask them, what do rich people spend money on? I did that. And guess what? They started telling me a whole bunch of things that rich people actually spend money on. Find ways to solve problems for the wealthy, not just the wealthy, but people who have the budget. You don't have to be rich to invest in yourself. There are people who make 6 figures a year who want to invest in the things that you have. It's all how you're positioning your messaging to speak to that individual. But if you're afraid and you're like, well, I want to speak to the broke person who can only afford a $7 offer, well, you're going to need a lot more people to buy your offer than if you would focusing on a group of targeted individuals who already have the money, are already financially secured. I've always called these people empowered buyers. These are the decisive action takers who are already looking for your solutions versus people who are just kind of like, I'm window shopping, or I don't need this. I don't see the value in this. So don't undervalue yourself or your services that you provide. This one is one that I recently had to get over. I can't accept this from blank. Name the blank, fill in the blank, from a person, from an organization, from whatever. A lot of times our lack of wanting to accept and receive something, our lack of openness to receive more abundance is the reason why abundance won't show up. You sit there, you pray for this, you affirm a bunch of affirmations. Oh, I'm wealthy, I'm rich, I'm getting money out of the blue. And yeah, I want money to come to me, and just people love paying me money. But then someone offers you money and then you say, no, I can't accept that. I can't take that. No, thanks. I don't need it. See, I had to even catch myself doing that. When someone in my life who I really care about deeply was like, here, I want to give this to you. I didn't want to take it because I'm like, no, I want to take care of you. It was my own pride and my ego of always being the strong one. This is an identity that we take on over time of, no, I got it. I can handle it on my own. That hyper independence is why you block your own blessing. And trust and believe, I have done this many a times before. And then I got tested again and failed that test. But this time around, I was like, nope, we're going to receive. And that is what I do. If I constantly believe that I'm constantly getting money out of the blue, that people love paying me money, that I'm a money magnet, that people just love blessing me for no reason, then I should freaking learn to receive those blessings that these people give. I don't care if it's your mom. I don't care if it's your cousin who you never spoke to. If they start offering you something, you could say, okay, thank you, and receive it. And I appreciate that. It doesn't always have to be, well, no, you don't have to do that. They know they don't have to do that. That goes without saying. They wanted to bless you. Something in their spirit ignited them. And what you're signaling to money and to the universe, what you're communicating when you say, no, I don't want that, what you're saying is, no, God, everything I prayed for, I actually don't want. No money, I reject you. I want to be broke. That's what you're saying when you don't receive. There was a celebrity who was mentioned in this group that I'm in. The celebrity was talking about, oh, I can't receive money from my followers. I won't accept it. She went through an injustice and she mentioned it and everyone was there supporting her. They had raised thousands and thousands of dollars for her. But she said, no, I can't accept money from my followers. I'm sure that money will come back around. Will it though? You just signaled, I don't want money from these people. These are my supporters, but I don't want support. That's what you're saying. So just make sure that your words and your actions align with the behaviors that you want to receive more. So if you want to receive more, you have got to let go of your pride and ego. I'm telling you, it will benefit you so much in the long run. Thank you so much for watching this video. I hope it was helpful. If you loved it, trust me, I got more on the way for you. And I post videos every single week. So make sure you hit that subscribe button and I'll see you in the next one. Peace. That's like these 3 things kept me broke look. Okay. All right. So don't be afraid to raise your prices. Look at the, all right, last one. Okay. Cause I'm like, no, I want to, you loved it. I got more on the way for you.